Now, in order to create a dynamic mechanism, I will not be touching the master assembly what we have, okay, the master rep. Okay, now I'll be creating a new rep, and I'll just name it as a dynamic, and I'll select all the parts to be included in the master rep, but I'll not be adding the blade. Okay, I'll be just excluding it from the representation, and I'll just click on apply and press OK. Now whenever we are opening Creo, if you're going to the master rep, you'll be having all the parts which are assembled in this way. And if I'm just going to dynamic rep, I will not be having the blade because I've excluded it. Now the dynamic rep which I'm creating is specifically being created for showcasing the animation. All right, now I'll just need to re-add the blade in this representation for performing the animation, or assigning a dynamic constraints firstly to the blade before performing the animation. So I'll just select the gasket, and I'll just right click over here because the blade is supposed to be added after the gasket. And I'll just go to assemble, and I'll reselect the blade blender, and I'll click OK. Now if you remember, in our previous video we were directly working on the current constraints, okay, whatever we have, such as the distance, coincident, or parallel, or anything that is applicable, right? So all these are static constraints. Now in order to perform some animations, we have to assemble our parts with dynamic constraint, and I need not work on reassembling all the components because all the components are not moving. The blade is the only moving part, so I'm just focused on reassembling the blade with dynamic constraints. And if I just drop in over here, you'll be having set of dynamic constraints which are basically categorized as connection type. Now in our specific application, the blade being connected to this shaft falls under pin connection. All right, so I'll just click on pin, and I'll be having a separate placement window where I will be asked to select the axis at first. For that, I'll be selecting the center axis with the shaft center axis. Now they both are coincident, okay, and after that I'm asked to select the translation. You can see this constraint is still, this direction is still not constrained. The white color indicates that the part is constrained in those directions. Now for translation, I'll just select the bottom surface of the blade, and I'll select this surface. All right, and now you can see it's completely defined, and I'll just press OK, and you can see that the blade is constrained and seated in its place. But you can see that I'm getting a square symbol over here, which indicates that the blade is assembled using the dynamic constraints. Now if you're just going to drag components and select any edge of the blade, and you can just move your cursor, you can see that the blade is moving. All right, now I'll just press OK anywhere, and just press middle click of my mouse, and I'll just come down, and you can see that all the parts have all the parts are back. But I'll just hide this cup, and I'll see if the constraint works even with the screw being added. All right, fine. Now I'll just stop this video, and in the next video we will be adding animation for the blade. So let us move to the next video.